We mentioned those governors in town. Check out another governor. This is Republican Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger talking about stimulus funding on This Week.
You have a lot of the Republicans running around and pushing back on the stimulus money and saying this doesn't create any new jobs. And then they go out and they do the photo ops and they're posing with the big check and they say, "Isn't this great? Look what the kind of money I provide here for the state. And this is great money to create jobs. And this has created 10,000 new jobs. And this has created 20,000 new jobs." And all of those kind of things. It doesn't match up.
I had images of DNC press secretaries clipping that immediately.
It's as if he was briefed by the White House before he went on the show.
It did sound like that. We're joined now by Matt Lewis of Politics Daily. Matt, let's start with the president's move today. How does this change the complexion of this big Thursday summit? That there's now something that says the president's plan.
Right. Well, first of all, I think there's a huge missed opportunity here by President Obama. I really believe that Americans wanted him to transcend politics. He could have positioned this as Republicans versus Democrats, with President Obama sort of being a mediator. But signing on to essentially the Democratic bill, he has set it up that he is now a mere player in the partisan political wars. I think it's a mistake. Bill Clinton keenly realized after the '94 Republican Revolution, he needed to become to transcend politics. He co-opted a lot of Republican ideas, claimed victory, claimed them for his own. He was reelected. I would compare what happened in Massachusetts and New Jersey and Virginia to a '94-like tidal wave already, even before the midterms.
Except that after 1994, Bill Clinton did not have a Congress in his party anymore.
It's true.
He had an opposition Congress, and after the 3 cases of Virginia, New Jersey, and Massachusetts you mentioned, Obama still has a huge majority in both chambers and has gotten closer on this than ever. Why? I can't figure out what, by posting a plan on the website, I don't think. I guess what I'm saying is, why would you expect him to scrap the plan at that point? It got right to the doorstep, and they think they one last push to get it over the hump because nobody's gotten closer to this on healthcare reform.
Well, I mean, clearly the progressives and liberals who've been fighting for this for a century are going to be pushing President Obama to the left. I just happen to think if I were advising him, I would tell him to do the opposite. Now, I'm trying to disconnect my conservative philosophy from this and put on my political strategist hat here. I really think he's making a political mistake, and frankly, putting up their plan before the bipartisan meeting really takes away the credibility. It's sort of like, you don't get a second chance to make a first impression. If President Obama wanted to bring Republicans into this debate and hash things out, he needed to do that a year ago. I would equate it to marriage counseling, and he wants to sort of go back to square one. Well, a lot of stuff, there's a lot of water under the bridge already.
We do get to strategize on a second impression, and let's do it for the Republican side. And I put the question out to via Twitter, how Republicans should handle this. Do you boycott? Do you show up with your own plan? Do you change your strategy based on this? I have one interesting response from @Tony Lee. He said, offer up one issue, like a tort reform aspect, anti-waste or fraud commission, and insist on the president adopting that one issue. Bring that forward. What do you make of that?
Well, I mean, first of all, let me say I think the fact that President Obama has put a plan on the website allows Republicans to go into this debate saying he's not serious about real bipartisan negotiation. So I think that was a tactical
But if you want to show you're serious as a Republican.
Well, look, I know Tony Lee. I think he's a good guy. I happen to disagree with him here because, look, if Republicans got one thing, like, say, malpractice, tort reform, and said that's all we need, well, then President Obama could even pass a public option as long as it had malpractice reform. But here's what I think President Obama ought to.
By playing with him, then you're opening the door to more.
Well, look, I think that what we should do is really go in there. I mean, what I would advise Republicans to do, and first of all, it's questionable as to whether or not they should even do this. Because, Sun Tzu in The Art of War said most battles are won before they're fought, and he who picks the terrain wins the battle. Going to Blair House, that's President Obama's milieu. He's going to control it. He's very charismatic. I'm not sure that a mere member of the House of Representatives, despite the fact that I think they're right on the issues, can compete with the President of the United States in his house.
I get that, but
this is an away game for Republicans.
Don't you think there would be backlash for them to sort of turn their backs and say, no, we're not playing, we're not coming to your playground?
Well, apparently they think so because it does look like they're going to go. So here's what I would suggest they do. First of all, they got to sort of balance an act here. It would be a mistake to go in there overly aggressive and sort of yell, "You lie," as someone did. That would be a bad idea. But by the same token, body language is going to matter. I would recommend putting forward really 3 leaders. Paul Ryan from Wisconsin, Mike Pence, and maybe Eric Cantor. I think those are the young, bright, articulate spokesmen, and let them sort of be the ones who talk. I think you don't want Republican backbenchers to get in there and muddy the waters.
A couple of key spokesmen and all that. Matt Lewis from Politics Daily, appreciate it, and appreciate the culture. Sun Tzu, milieu, we are getting broader in our education. I love it.
Thanks a lot, Matt.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. That does it for this edition of Top Line. Be sure to click us on again tomorrow.
And it's twitter.com/the note. Let us know what you think. So they haven't decided on who they're sending yet, technically.